Grab your popcorn and candy as we dive into what's streaming and playing on the big screen. Don't go away. Extra butter, please. Starts now. Hello and welcome to Extra Butter, Please. I'm your host, Gina B. Well, 2020 has most definitely been a strange and distressing year when it comes to the big screen. This year's blockbusters got pushed aside in a dominoes effect of postponements and cancellations due to the coronavirus pandemic. Slowly but surely, though, some theaters are opening back up, so we wanted to tell you what you might be able to catch and what's coming to theaters soon. Well, Tenet was the first movie to open back in theaters. The Christopher Nolan spy thriller is about an unnamed CIA agent played by John David Washington who learns about a secret organization called Tenet whose mission is to prevent World War III from happening in the future.
He can communicate with the future.
Time travel.
No. Inversion.
Aim it and pull the trigger. You're not shooting the bullet, you're catching it.
Whoa.
Now, the clip has all the juicy complexities you can expect from Nolan's movies like Inception, Memento, and The Prestige. But sometimes the movie can get even too complicated, explaining so many details so quickly that you just want to press the rewind button and take a breath. It doesn't help that sometimes the music and sound is so loud you might not catch what the hell anyone is saying during the action scenes. Fortunately, though, when the movie gets going, it gets good. Nolan's use of in-camera practical effects is astounding. Even if you might have a hard time following some details, in the end, it's clear what the characters are trying to achieve, and the intensity keeps you constantly on edge. Tenet may still be playing where theaters are open. Well, he's back at it again. Liam Neeson is on the run again in the action thriller Honest Thief. A former bank robber trying to reduce his sentence by cutting a deal with two dirty FBI agents who set him up for murder. Well, you know what happens next. Neeson's character goes on the run trying to clear his name, and the action begins. Honest Thief is now playing in theaters. Another movie that is playing on the big screen is Lionsgate's Antebellum, starring Janelle Monáe. Now, the horrifying movie has Monáe's character in the painful past of slavery and present day simultaneously.
Whoever you were before, that's over.
Antebellum challenges the South's romantic view of its own past, as well as any delusions of living in a post-racial present. You should be able to find Antebellum still playing in theaters where open. Well, we all need a little laughter right about now, so if you really just miss going to the theaters and getting some popcorn, like I should have, get a ticket to see War with Grandpa. The movie centers around a young boy who has to give his bedroom up to his grandpa, played by Robert De Niro, who recently moved in.
So let me get this straight. You want me to help you and your buddies to help beat up your grandson and his buddies because the two of you can't figure out some way to live in the same house?
Well, when you put it like that.
I'm in.
The scale of elaborate pranks to win back his space doesn't go without a fight, hence the war between the two begins. The War with Grandpa is a good family comedy featuring a star-studded cast and is now playing in theaters. You can still catch all these movies if you feel brave enough to venture out to the cinemas. Don't go away. Extra Butter, Please will be right back. Welcome back. In April, the first major film to skip a theatrical release and head straight to streaming was Dreamworks' animated feature Trolls World Tour. This marks the second time that Dreamworks released an animated movie straight to home video. Now, the movie is a sequel to their 2016 box office hit and takes place in a world where every culture of trolls represents different music genres.
Are I'm gonna unite the 6 strings. By the end of my world tour, I'm gonna turn all the trolls into rock zombies. Rock and roll!
Now, this may sound like the weirdest storyline for a kids' movie, and while the film has its fair share of juvenile humor, there's actually a very unique message about music and cultural differences. So if you're looking for a good family flick, you might want to check this one out, now streaming on Netflix. Well, if you haven't heard about Schitt's Creek yet, you're up Schitt's Creek. And I think I can only say that like 2 more times on television. This hilarious and witty comedy series unfolds how a wealthy family goes from riches to rags.
Are you ready for a total physical and emotional transformation?
Nah.
What is happening?
The show's main characters are an eclectic group of misfits that slowly adjust to their new world. It reminds me a little bit of the Beverly Hillbillies, but in reverse. The Canadian television sitcom has received critical acclaim in writing, humor, and acting. Conceived and developed by the father-son duo Dan and Eugene Levy, who also star in the hit series, set a record for the most Emmy wins by a comedy series in a single season, beating one of my favorites, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel's 2018 record. You can catch all 6 seasons playing now on Netflix and Amazon Prime. Calling all food lovers.
People will find the things that are going to be delicious. Deliciousness as a whole is like a meme. It's going to find a way to survive. That's insane. Well, there is no shortage of food shows if you like to take your taste buds around the world. Netflix is leading the way with over 40 different food somethings streaming right now.
When we all come together for a meal, you appreciate it because it doesn't happen all the time.
And back for another season is one of my all-time favorites with new challenges, new bakers, and some new personalities. Are you ready? Get set. Big.
I am petrified. That's given me quite a few sleepless nights. Here we go.
What's the stalk made from?
You're not meant to eat that.
No, I know that now.
You can watch over 8 seasons of the Great British Bake Off and many more now on Netflix. Well, Disney released its latest live-action remake of Mulan on Disney+. The remake of the 1998 classic follows the same storyline of a girl who joins the Chinese army, but the main difference from the original is that it isn't a musical, there's no dragon played by Eddie Murphy, and the story takes many different turns with completely new scenes.
You will now take the oath of the warrior. Loyal. Brave. True.
Now, the film plays as a Chinese war epic with some fantasy elements like Mulan's ability of Qi, which turns her into a super warrior at times. There's over-the-top elements like characters sometimes flipping and jumping everywhere like it's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in that camp. You know what I'm saying? The movie is currently available on Disney Plus through their Premiere Access, but will be available to all subscribers this December. So the 2nd season of The Boys is now available on Amazon Prime, and if you haven't watched the 1st season, you're in for a nice superhero surprise. And that's all I'm going to say about it without having to give you a spoiler alert. But what I can say, the new season gives you a little more insight into the characters and why some of them are so pissed off.
So what's your big plan?
We'll take them vote. There we go. And I get my wife back.
We're in.
Of course we're in.
We blow it up in the air.
For all of you who loved all the blood, guts, and head explosions in the 1st season, you won't be disappointed this season. Well, if you're looking for a good scare, there's a hearty selection of suspenseful, nail-biting movies and shows out there to fulfill your fear factor appetites on all the streaming platforms. Hulu's Behind You aims to scare you so much you'll be looking behind you for the next couple of months. Amazon Prime has its lineup of thrillers to choose from, like The Woman in Black, Final Destination, and the Australian Australian indie flick, Babadook, that promises to make your hair stand up a little bit. Apple TV has their share of eye-covering shows and movies to pick from, and Netflix has new school and old school scary, from Freddy Krueger to Get In, Get Out, and everything in between. Disney is also in on the scary party with the New Mutants and some great animation creepers. All in all, there's plenty for everyone. Don't go away. We'll be right back in 60 seconds.
You can give help and hope to those in need.
Welcome back to Extra Butter. Well, if you think you've run out of things to watch, it's all in your head because there's so much streaming online to choose from. You might find yourself scratching your head in what to watch next. You've gone through all the latest and greatest, but there's still so much to binge on if you're willing to travel off the mainland. Amazon Prime Video has a great lineup of foreign films and television series to choose from. I myself love British television, and BBC doesn't disappoint. DCI Banks is a British crime drama series based on the Inspector Banks novel from the award-winning crime writer Peter Robinson. Now, I love this series. The characters are evolving with each season, and it's full of intrigue, twists, and turns. You know, all the good stuff. Love, sex, murder, and suspense.
Still got it. Mwah.
I'm thinking of putting in for DCI.
Really?
Honey, is everything okay?
I lied. Everything isn't fine.
We're binging, so you have 5 seasons to binge on. Now, this one, you guys, is a must-watch. Broadchurch is another great British TV crime drama series that is unpredictable, riveting, and intense without over-the-top dramatization. You know how refined the Brits are. The storyline is layered with characters that are complex and have depth. Without telling you too much, it's about a small coastal town that finds themselves in the midst of a suspicious murder case, which ignites a media frenzy like OJ meets the Kardashians. You get the point. This is another great binger. You have 3 seasons to watch, now playing on Netflix. I know most of us have had enough of politics, but another foreign series I think is worth watching is Borgen. This Danish political drama series is based around the first female prime minister of Denmark. It has all the same characters our American political dramas have. The spin doctor that can change the narrative of the story without blinking an eye, the ravenous media that will stop at nothing to get a story, and political parties that are always at odds. Sounds familiar? There's 3 seasons on Netflix to binge on. Hulu has a lineup of great shows out there as well, and depending on your Canadian accent, Letterkenny or Letterkenny is a comedy set in a small town in Ontario, Canada.
Remember that scene in Homeward Bound? What did that bulldog do when his buddy was down in that big hole?
He got right down in there with him!
Now, you might need a translator to understand their thick Ontario dialect, but I like the pacing of this show. It adds to the exaggerated characters and dialogue. You can catch Letterkenny or Letterkenny, now streaming on Hulu. Don't worry, you're not seeing double. That's Zoe Kravitz, daughter of Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz, and star of the popular Hulu series High Fidelity. Now, the romantic comedy travels with Rob, played by Kravitz, who revisits her past relationships through music and pop culture.
We got a little bit of everything. Punk, electronic, hip-hop, rock. To quote our lone Yelp review, decently curated cuts, unpretentious location, owner's a little rude, 2.5 stars.
You can catch High Fidelity now on Hulu. Based on a true story, Hulu's The Act is a chilling crime drama that will give you the heebie-jeebies. The Act is about a mother who abuses her daughter by fabricating illnesses and disabilities.
Have you been able to confirm the girl's medical history?
Which part?
any of it.
You can't go wrong with The Act. It stars Joey King and Academy Award winner Patricia Arquette and is now playing on Hulu. Well, I am all out of breath and time, and I hope you enjoyed some of our picks. See you next time on Extra Butter, please.